Hello, I'm Matthew Enderly, and I'm the lead developer for EmbroideryNerd.io. What exactly is it? It's just a website that we developed that allows you to take images and colors and whatever and find a thread that matches it the closest, and then you don't even have to pull out your thread books and actually try to line them up and figure out which one is closest. You can just use our free website. So I'm going to demonstrate exactly what the thread converter is, and just a quick disclaimer, yes, there are paid tiers on here that give you access to more tools and features, but everything I'm going to demonstrate right now is going to be at the free tier. You do have to create an account. That's just because we store your data in so that you can come back and refer to it later, and all your preferences are saved. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open the thread converter. So right away there's two sections to pay attention to. Top section, there's your color source. That is where you're going to put in the colors that you want to take and then convert into a different color. The bottom section, that is going to be where your actual color results are going to appear. Another thing, up in the top right, we have our settings. So these are where you would put your actual brands and your charts that you would like to refer to every single time. So let's say you don't use Filtech or Madeira and you only use like Floriani. You would get rid of these, select Floriani, and then anytime you reload into the page, it will automatically show you Floriani results only. Also, you can change the number of results if you want. I'm going to go ahead and leave it to 10 in the default. So first things first, you got three different inputs here. The first one is drop down of the different type of color inputs. Then you're going to have your brand filter, and then you're going to have your actual search box. So you'll notice if I change this to name, this changes the name. If I change the hex, it'll change to a hex input. So real quick, let's say I'm looking for the color 200. There's a lot of, different 200s, and it's also giving you 2000. Let's say I really just want something from, I don't know. We'll just go with Floriani. Let's say 45. Dark. This one. So if you double click it, let me do that again. So you can click it once, and you'll see on the right it'll give you the RGB and the hex, so you can take that into Adobe or Canva or whatever you're using, and you can click match, and it'll bring it in. Or you can also just double click it as it says right here. Just double click over here, and it will bring it in. So that's how you can do that. We're going to clear out Floriani. Now we're going to move into name. So let's say golden. Again, I'm seeing every single golden blank from all the brands, all 40,000 threads that we have in the database. If you want to narrow it down, you can select. So I'm going to do Filtech, golden, and golden light. Okay, we'll pull that one in. Same deal. RGB. If I change this to 0, that to 0, I'm going to get a green, very dark one. And that's just going to tell you that's a manual hex, RGB value, and also the hex value just for convenience. I can do hex as well. Just throw that in there. Boom. Image. We'll do that one after Pantone. So Pantone, very simple. Just put in the color code. You do not need to put in, like, see, this is 124. Most of the time they show you as 124C. There's technically a space. So I always just recommend just putting in 124. And I can double click that, and I can see that it brought it in. There's hex, and there is the RGB. Next one is the bulk panel. So this is where if you have like a laundry list of colors that you're doing, maybe they're school colors, they just give it all to you. They can be in all of these formats. So this is an RGB, so is that. This is a hex, and these three are CMYK variations. So sometimes they use percent, sometimes they just put it in this format, or it's just 4 series of numbers. So if I just copy all that, paste that in, and you can see it brought it all in. all of these colors, as ugly as they are, they're all in there. Now the bread and butter of this, so let's say you want to do an image. So if I browse for an image, I'm going to, I have it on the other monitor, but I'm going to bring in my personal logo. So if I click on, it says double click on the image. So I just double click on an area. So I'll bring in this yellow from the star. So you can either click here or you can click match color, and you'll see that it is right here. I'm going to get rid of some of these just so that you can see a little bit better. And we're also going to zoom in, so you can see it zooms in a little slow. We can change this to how fast we want it to zoom in, and then that allows us to pick a color more precisely. Now let's say you have artwork that is not a vector, and it has a lot of colors on it, so like this. So if I zoom in, you'll notice how if I click around in here, you can see the color changes quite a bit, even if I don't move it a whole lot in the picture. So one of the things you can do is click sample area. You'll see that there's a box that is following your cursor. So now whenever I click in that area, it is going to average the color of the pixels inside of that box. So one thing to be aware of, if I go right here, you'll see that I'm getting some really weird colors. That's because it's doing the yellow, but it's also grabbing the black or the blue. So it will pick up whatever colors are in there. If you want to sample more colors, you just zoom out, and there you go. So now I can pull that color in, and that. And also, if I need to come back to it, let's say I forgot to pick a color, like I can grab this black and do it that way. It also tells me that it came from an image and what the color source was on the left. So now that we have our actual colors, to find the actual results, all you do is you just scroll down. So this black, that's what's selected. Emerald black from Madeira, that's the #1 go-to for this. It's the closest. And let's say I want to pick a different one. So over here you can click match. You'll see it changes it. This one will be much more vibrant. You can see this daffodils is the closest one. You can also just click the color over here. That was a new feature I put in today. So you can see which ones it is. Let's say you don't want Filtech or Madeira. I can bring in Floriani. And let's bring in that one. And there we go. So we can see that this red here is raspberry, is the closest one. And from there we can go ahead, we can add it to our shopping list. And now let's say I want to see it. Oh, not that one. We can click on view, and it'll bring us into the actual, that color's like profile. So I can see the hex, RGB, CMYK, hue, saturation, and vibrance. So you can use that for like Adobe, Canva, Corel, whatever you want. You can see the other charts that we have loaded in from that manufacturer. And then you can also go through and you can find other colors that are in that chart. So like the actual book that you would get. So if I do Blue Pacific, I can click it. And there we go. Now I'm on that one. I can add this one to my shopping list. And I can choose different sizes. I can choose different thread weights. And my quantity, and I can do that. And that is pretty much the thread converter. So I guess there is one more thing. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this here. So when you have your threads actually matched, let's say you did pull it from an image or whatever. Once you have this, you can go up here, you can click share. It'll give you a link, and you can copy this and you can send it to any person, and they will be able to see the actual results that you picked. So this is really helpful if you're trying to send something to a friend, and they can go and go forth and conquer. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask them. You can reach out to us. We have all our links in the bottom, so there's Discord. That's the easiest way to get in contact with us, especially regarding embroiderynerd.io. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy the tool.